equity. My name is Melanie Stone. I'm the Accessibility and Inclusion Advisor here at the City of London, and I'm part of a multidisciplinary team working on the Mobility Master Plan. In this short video, you will learn about some of our mobility goals for the future, as well as policies and actions that can help us achieve them. The city's council-approved strategic plan speaks to the importance of making sure all Londoners have opportunities to participate in civic engagement. This is reflected in our commitment to including the needs of all Londoners in our mobility master planning process. Applying equity to transportation planning is crucial for creating systems that serve everyone equitably, regardless of their socioeconomic status, race, ethnicity, gender, or physical ability. Part of this work is identifying and addressing existing barriers to access. This can cover several topics like affordability, accessibility, and road safety. Designing transportation systems that provide equal access to opportunities and services for all residents, particularly those in underserved areas. From a safety standpoint, it could involve the incorporation of our Safe Cities audit data, recognizing the experiences and safety concerns of women, girls, gender diverse and trans individuals and survivors in the design of our street components. From an access standpoint, we know that an increased focus on walking, cycling, and transit is directly linked to building a more equitable city, with less than 13% of households having access to a car or unable to drive, and income levels of less than $45,000 amongst 25 to 34-year-olds across Ontario. The city's equity tool is one of the ways we're working to dismantle systemic racism and oppression. The city's equity tool is a series of questions that prompts us to examine the potential consequences of our decisions on equity-denied groups. It guides us in meaningfully engaging people from these groups and provides us with a process for creating strategies and actions that address inequities that they may face. It also helps us evaluate and measure the impact we're making. Using an equity tool minimizes the likelihood of continued oppressive practices and ensures that we strategically identify and remove barriers to inclusion and intentionally advance equity. It involves listening to equity-denied groups and focusing our actions on inclusion from the start so we don't have to remediate if we've made errors later. The equity tool is being applied to the Mobility Master Plan recommendations and will continue to be used as we start to implement infrastructure projects, programs, and policies that come out of it. Let's take a look at some of our equity goals for the Mobility Master Plan. It's important to know that there are goals as part of other areas of focus, which also support a more equitable transportation network. Goal number 1, people of all ages and abilities have a range of safe, appropriate, and effective mobility options. For example, offering a travel training program to teach people how to use transit and accessible features of our transit buses may help people increase their confidence using transit. Goal number 2, equity is at the forefront of mobility system decision-making. As I mentioned in our last slide, application of the equity tool and ensuring diverse perspectives are reflected in the Mobility Master Plan outcomes will be critical. This is the first time a transportation plan of London at this scale has embedded equity into its processes. The mobility system supports equitable access to opportunities. The acceleration of investments in areas experiencing mobility poverty is being considered. As per the city's strategic plan, mobility poverty refers to situations where socioeconomic marginalization combines with transportation barriers to mutually reinforce problems in people's lives and preventing them from thriving. Transportation-related social exclusion is the outcome of transport poverty. It results in the activities that people miss out on due to one's transportation situation, things like missing a job interview or doctor's visits, as well as feelings of isolation. The mobility system supports health. Our next goal is about expanding initiatives that improve health. Vancouver's public bike share system provides a community pass to people who receive other subsidized services, have low annual incomes, or are designated as people with disabilities. This is a great example of merging the need for more active transportation programs with the needs of equity-denied communities. The last thing I'll touch on is London's commitment to creating a safer city for women, girls, non-binary, trans folks, and survivors. This is an essential part of building a more equitable city. When women, girls, non-binary, trans individuals, and survivors are not safe in public spaces, it has a significant adverse effect on their lives. Both the threat and experience of sexual violence affects their access to social activities, freedom of movement, education, employment, leadership opportunities, and psychological well-being. Statistically, we know that women, girls, non-binary, and trans individuals and survivors are at a higher risk of experiencing sexual violence and thus have reported feeling weary, unsafe, and unable to freely navigate, enjoy, and actively participate due to their gender. This was also reflected in the significant amount of feedback from Londoners regarding personal safety while traveling in London. So we'll be exploring how Mobility Master Plan recommendations reflect different dimensions of safety, like psychological safety, in addition to physical safety. We recognize that mobility solutions for the future need to encompass varying needs and perspectives. Our goal is to ensure accessibility and inclusivity for individuals of all identities, abilities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. For some, mobility might simply mean the ability to physically move from one place to another, while for others, it could mean access to transportation options, freedom of movement, or the ability to fully participate in social and economic activities. We invite you to learn about all 8 areas of focus for the Mobility Master Plan, and we share your feedback with us as we strive to create a future where everyone has access to the options they need to move through our city with ease. Thank you.